Today we're going to be modifying the Air Warrior's Baron. This is a blaster that can be had at Walmart for about $4. As you can see, this one has already been modified to shoot micro darts. It's originally designed to shoot mega darts. We're going to be modifying the red one above the blue one today because it's only been painted and not modified on the inside. Things that you're going to need: a drill bits, PVC shears, pliers, screwdriver, a countersink, a hobby knife, a dart, a Sharpie, some springs if you need them, foam, scissors, and some proper barrel material. This is PETG tubing with a 1/2 inch ID and a 5/8 inch OD. First thing you're going to want to do is take all of the screws out of your blaster. Now that you have all the screws out, you can take your screwdriver and pry off this handle panel here. After it's out, put it aside. You can now open up the shell and have a look at the internals. We've got a spring rest, a priming bar with an extension spring, a trigger assembly with a spring, plunger assembly, and your barrel assembly, which we'll be working with next. We're going to have to find a drill bit that fits these holes in the back. This is a 7/32. I tried the next one up, but it was a little bit too big, so we're going to use the 7/32 bit. Go ahead and drill them out, and when the AR pops out from one side, go ahead and move it over to the other side. Now that you have both sides drilled out, we're going to fit our barrel material into our barrel assembly. Just take your barrel material, and you're going to want to take your countersink tool and ream that barrel out a little bit so it'll make it easier to put the dart in. Now put your dart in your barrel material. I'm going to have to twist it just a little bit. Now take your Sharpie and mark the length of the dart, and that's where you're going to want to cut. Now take your PVC shears, and making sure the cut is even and level, carefully cut your barrel material to that length. And now you have one barrel. Do it for the other side too. Now that you have two barrels cut to the same size, you want to make sure that both barrels are properly reamed on the front to allow easy loading of darts. Now go ahead and get your craft foam out. We're going to create spacers for the barrels so they can sit in the mega barrels of the Baron. Make sure there isn't any plastic shrapnel inside the barrels. Grab your scissors, and we're going to cut approximately a 1 inch wide strip of craft foam for the barrel spacers. You only need one complete revolution of foam around the barrel. So roll the barrel in the craft foam, mark it with a screwdriver where the edges meet, and cut that size out. Now you're going to want the chamfered part of the barrel to be towards the front where the muzzle is, and you're going to want the foam, which is going to seal the barrel, to be towards the back end. So put the foam probably about 1/4 of an inch away from the part that you have not chamfered. Make sure it gets a good seal around the barrel so that the air won't escape from the plunger. Now this is going to be too loose, so you're going to want to wrap blue tape around that barrel until it fits tightly in the barrel assembly. Now go ahead and shove that in your barrel assembly. Make sure it's nice and tight and it won't spin when you try to spin it. Now do it again for the second barrel. And there's a complete modified barrel assembly. Now we're practically done with this modification. All we have left to do is put it back together. Alright, we're going to start reassembling things. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our plunger assembly, take our spring rest, put the long side facing the spring, and put it back where it was. Make sure that the hook part of the plunger rod is facing upwards. Take your barrel assembly and put it into the slots. Take your trigger assembly with the trigger spring and put it back where it goes. Make sure your trigger operates correctly. Now take your priming rod and hook the extension spring over that extended post by the plunger assembly. And now you have assembled internals. Have a final look at it, make sure everything is aligned correctly. Now you can put the blaster body back together. And we're going to do a test firing before we put the screws in. Hold the body together securely. You should feel it catch and you should feel the plunger discharge when you pull the trigger. Alright, I've put all the blaster body screws back in. We're going to put the handle panel back on. Go ahead and clip it on. And we're going to reattach the priming handle now. Tighten up those two final screws. And you're done with the modification. You now have an Elite barreled bearing. Thank you for watching.